this thing actually work? That's the question. Can't go early. You have to wait till actually 8 o'clock. Right, I can load it into the gate. 4784 Isambard Kingdom Brunel. I killed the bloke, so there won't be any speed. Hello, the countdown's going to finish before I can show it to you. That's okay. Hello, Gav. Hello, Mark B. Welcome back from the other stream. Mark Moss, Chucky Transport, Melbourne Train Guy, Amy, Holy Trucker, Bad Guy 89. Alright, we should just start with Thomas then, shouldn't we? No problem.
Shall we play a game?
Train depot. Just waiting. 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Live! There we go. Alright. Scenarios 4, 4, 7, 4, 8, 4. It's green, isn't it? You get, what is it, 6? Looks like 6, 7 maybe. 7 scenarios, double up. You're operating a class, stop that, operating a class 45 from Peterborough to Doncaster. So do some work in the thing. Brunel comes home. 47484 Isambard Kingdom Brunel from Doncaster to Peterborough. First leg of a rail tour. Scottish Brunel, Inverness to London King's Cross. Pick up a heavily delayed service at Doncaster, who stops at Grantham and Peterborough. Isambard comes north. That's a bad way to put it. He just made a big sticky mess. Peterborough parking. Newark to Peterborough. Brunel nights, requiring the first thing in the morning to lead a rail tour. Expect speed restrictions. Grouse. Weather woes. Performing a tour south of London, King's Cross, Doncaster, blah, 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 etc. I'm going to not start one of those, though, initially. I'm going to go to... Which one? Which one? I think that one. And we'll go into the timetable, and we'll pick any old 47 service, like that one, and go, let's run one. Sheffield to Blackpool North. That sounds fine. We'll do that, because I want to show you this thing without having a scenario bugging us. Driver, of course. Melbourne Train Guy says he thinks it's 10 scenarios. I only see 7. Now, I'm just going to see if there's been an update before we do too much else. Straight brake. Put you on. You are going to believe rail driver. This is good. Headlight. Marker lights. Horn. Probably open the doors, shouldn't we? Now, before we go anywhere, let's just get one thing out of the way. Because you're going to whine about it, rightfully so, unless it's been updated. Forwards. There you go. You've already seen what's missing. Talk about it now. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, Richie. How are you? So you can already talk about what you didn't see then. It'll be fine. Should we shut the doors? Probably. No, not yet. Can you get in the machine room? No. Let's go outside and have a look at it. Hopefully we don't get run over. So it's got white wall tyres. It's got a fuzzy nameplate. Isambard Kingdom Brunel for the Great Western Railway. Let me know if that's a bit loud for you too. It was for me. It kind of has suspension. Kinda. Oh, we've got a couple of cables not connected. Didn't do that before. Anyway. Oh, hang on. Buffers. Are they fixed? They're fixed. Whoop, time to go. Back in the train. Let's drive the beast. That is correct, Amy. No smoke. Holy Truckers is at least it has wheels. The LIRR doesn't need wheels, Holy Trucker. Wrong chair. Get in the right chair. It's not Germany. Richie says, could I check Discord? I can. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, guess what, folks? Unfortunately, and thank you, Richie, for alerting me, that's all you're going to see of it. But we'll keep playing Train Sim World. That is a bummer. I'm just reading through some announcements. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, well. That's all you're going to see of it then. But what I'll do is I will go into the Be Right Back screen and I will turn up DLC and we'll come back and we'll do some Train Sim World for a relaxing Wednesday night. And I'll have to take down the other videos that just went up too. It's just sad. It's kind of annoying. I wish they wouldn't tell us 2 minutes before we're going to go. That's sad. Let me deal with the other videos too. I think you can hear me now, can't you? Yeah, I think so. That's sad. All right, fine. YouTube Studio. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. Game starting up again. Content. And we will have to make that one private. And we will have to make that one private. And that's it, I think. That's all of them. Okay, cool. Right, let's go live again. Oh, the game's loading up. That's all you're going to see of that one, sadly. Oh, well. Oh, well. That's life. We'll stay on Blackpool branches, though, I think. We'll run a different 47. Yeah, Richie is correct. The pack is still being released tomorrow, but they have asked us just now to not stream it. Let me just go and confirm with them that I have actually stopped. Isn't that sad? But anyway, we'll have some fun. It'll be fine. Let's get back into Blackpool branches again. Why not? We were there. We'll do a 47 that works properly. Who said that? Which one will we run? Blackpool branches 47, I think. That one. And we'll run the same service. Why not? Go. Driver. Oh, we could have done a pacer. There's an idea. Ah, well, all good. Funnily enough, from in here, it's pretty much exactly the same anyway. Desk light, no. Actually, yes, I do want desk lights on. Because that's actually the instrument lights, not desk light at all. Forwards. Doors open. Calm yourself down, train. Put that brake on, put that brake off. It's definitely not the other one. I think this one will smoke. Oh, maybe it won't. Used to smoke. Oh, there it goes. It does smoke. Good. That's what this one's supposed to do anyway. Yes, that was a very brief teaser. I apologise, guys, and thanks, Richie, for jumping in. I didn't actually see the DTG community Discord and where they've gone. Stop! Literally 19 minutes before I go live. Yeah. Oh, I should turn on this thing as well. Oh, it's already on. It's fine. Why didn't it go off then? Hang on. Let's turn that off. Turn that on. There we go. Right, that's better. That's life. Yes, still being released tomorrow at this point in time. But, you know, it was going live mere minutes ago, but it did not. That's okay. You got a very short teaser. Bad guy says, I'm guessing there's a problem with it. Well, I showed it to you. They don't want you to stream it. I don't know why they're so worried about it, actually. The only really thing wrong with it now is it had a few things wrong this morning, but they've sorted those out. The only thing wrong with it now is it doesn't smoke. But anyway, that's fine. We'll drive a normal 47. We could do a pacer. We could go and run an SNG on Swolgreningen. Only going a little bit fast. It's alright. I think we'll want to run some new stuff. Since we can't run Isambard. Up we go. You know, in honour of Just Train's announcement, why don't we run a pacer on the Welsh one? Cardiff. That seems fair. I don't know if they're doing a preview stream tomorrow, Holy Trucker. They cancelled today's. I don't know if they're going to do one or not. They haven't said. And so far it's still releasing, but oh yeah, there might be an announcement there too, I don't know. That's okay, these things happen. It was a very brief teaser, Joffanon, very brief. Melbourne Train Guy says, so is anyone going to say what's happening with 47484? No, because now that they have reinstated the embargo, I can't. Whereas I was going to quite happily tell you the deal. I will tell you there's actually not much wrong with it. I'm surprised they've done what they've done, but whatever. It's all right. Hello, Faramero. Richie says, it's a good last minute. Good job I've not recorded anything yet. I had, and it was already live, and it's probably got views on it, but I've taken them down. One of them was scheduled to go later this morning, and the other one was already up. But that's okay. So we will run a different 47. Yay! Well, it looks like the other one. Feels like the other one. Bounces around like the other one. Smokes more than the other one. You've already seen that, so it doesn't matter if I say that. Florian says, I always wait with my purchases until I see British Asia's streams or videos anyway, as I can judge performance on PS5. They don't seem any closer to fixing the textures. The textures are about video memory. So until they dumb down the detail, yeah, that's just what they need to do, I suppose. Mr. Bean, hello. Love to you as well. Chucky Sen, Pretender got rebuilt on battery power. Henters said morning or evening. It is evening here, Henters. It is 8:15 in the evening. Of course, it's 10:15 in the morning for the Brits. But that's okay. Lord Dampnut says, would like to see the SNG to see if we can get that awful cap noise over 100 kilometres an hour. Well, we can try that too. But I think we'll bung a pacer on Cardiff first, because, you know, we can. Faramaro says, hi. No, this isn't new, Faramaro. I had started out running the new one, and as it left the platform, I became aware that our embargo curtain has closed again. We were allowed to stream it, and then we weren't. It's just life. Holly Trucker says, can you tell us the price? It was about £12. That's been announced. Something along that lines. And yes, this is an existing DLC, Blackpool branches with boring static cows. Bad Guy says they haven't said anything on the forums about cancelling the release, so I think it's probably a bit late in the process to do that anyway. Oh no, they can cancel it right up to the last second. As long as it hasn't actually started distributing yet, they can turn it off if they need to. But, you know, we'll see what they do. Nothing lets you come in over here, does it? Maybe we should just spawn a pacer in here and just drive around. It's fun. My mouse ball might need a bit of cleaning. Hey! Hey! That looks a lot like the hint station, doesn't it? I was looking at it thinking it's not much of a hint, because, you know, half the stations in England looked like that at one point. Bad Guy says on PlayStation, if you want to get away from texture problems, turn it down to HD. Yeah, that should help, because it would use a lot less memory. Hey, man. Bad guy says 4K and you shouldn't have a problem. I've done this. I'm getting around 50, 60 frames a second and no texture problems at all. Yeah, you shouldn't get any because you're using a lot less video RAM. Thanks, Richie. £11.99, £11.49 on PlayStation. I think that £11.49 is UK only. I think outside the UK it is still £11.99. And I think it was $12.99 US dollars and $12.99 euros, I think, from memory too. Florian says, I do like watching your stuff too, Richie. I thought you were on PC for some reason. He's on both. He's sneaky. Melbourne Train Guy says the route just trains won't fix. What's wrong with it? I always liked this bridge. That's just cool. Bridge is screwed. What do we do? Ah, brace it up. Should be right, mate. So Australian. Oh, this is still red. I was expecting it to clear, but it hasn't. Max brakes. Come on, clear. Clear. Yes! I knew it would. I was going towards it a bit too fast for it to clear, I think. Brakes haven't come off enough yet. Here they go. There we go. Bad sun angle, maybe? Amy says I'm going to open the first IKEA set. Enter says Holy Trucker, the East Coast Mainline Diesel Railtour pack released later this week, Thursday, April 3rd on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Epic Game Store, and Steam for $11.99, $13.99, $13.99. Oh, it's more than I thought. Richie says he's hybrid. Yes. He'll get into anything. How are people tonight, anyway? I don't think anybody actually knows why it's $11.49 in the UK. I think we just got told to accept that it was. Some weirdness. It will clear once you pass the go via. It does, but if you're going too fast, like I was, you'll end up going through it while it's still red. I have spattered on that signal quite a few times. Florian says, I think the super nerds on the forum have already sussed out that the teaser image is crew. Ah, fair enough. I'd like one that goes to crew. That would be good. I would love it if it was in the late 60s, early 70s, when the works was still in its prime time. That would be really good. That would make my day, that would. Especially if the works was there. Chocky thinks tonight, bot, that if he smashes the like button, it will break. Melbourne Train Guy saying to Amy Preston to crew on Discord, I believe, was very plausible. I'd quite happily go with it. Holy Trucker says, what's $13.99 in Oz dollar? Let me check for you. This isn't an accurate thing, though. $23.80. All good. Let's see if I had a reply to what I asked Alex. No. Is okay. We have a clear on the signal. I once spent ages trying to figure out what this actually was. I mean, I think it's a bridge abutment, But, you know, why was it there? It just seems strange. But apparently, it really was there, so... It just was. Up in speed, now that we are past all the shenanigans. We can go back up to 70 miles an hour. Florian says, not too bad. Henter says, only been awake an hour. Have an over 50s MOT for the DWP this afternoon. I hope that goes well, Hentus. Richie says something to do with Sony being weird. That's not unusual. Hentus says, Spattered is my middle name. I think we all share that title, Hentus. We all share, from time to time, Sir Spat-a-lot. Melbourne Train Guy says, good, just streamed and now watching you all. Fair enough. And we've got a whole collection of ambassadors in the chat. Oh, that reminds me, actually, just while I'm here, because I can't do this outside of a stream very easily. There we go. Have a spanner, Hentus. Holy Trucker says, good, if you don't own TransPennine and BR Heavy Freight DLC, you get the 40 and 45 as well. That's correct. You do get the 40 and 45 in the pack, and that is very good for people that don't own the other one. I think someone else is trying to warn me too. Oh, they are. Yes. And Liber C says my stream title is wrong. I think he's probably right. Let me have a look. I have this horrible habit of typing, I did too, Isambard instead of Isambard. There we go. Fixed it. I should edit anyway. I'll just put in, there we go. I'll change it to let's not take an early access look. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Stream name's good now. Pacer. I fixed the stream name. It now says, let's not take an early access look. Bad Guy says, I can't complain. I picked up Boston to Wake Forest earlier for 35% off. Not a bad little route. Need to play more of it though, really. It's cool. I was hoping for West Coast Main Line, Brum to Crewe, says Richie. That would actually be pretty good. I really hope Crewe Works is there though. We need Crewe Works. It's kind of important. Amy says, I'm Lady Spad of Signal WS8. Sounds like you've met that signal a few times. Just once or twice, perhaps. Just letting the train drive itself here. The rail driver is adjusting the throttle for me. It's on auto throttle. Rail driver's keeping it just over the speed limit, which is where we like to be. Perfect. Yes, I made... Hentus and Richie both BR Blue. Amy says, if you know that signal, you know what I mean. Melbourne Train Guy says, I claim Sir TPWS overspeed. Hey, honest answer, folks. When you saw the April 1st roadmap, and you saw the BR4 to whatever it is, 430? 430, I think, in pink, did you actually latch on that it was a train that wasn't in the game yet? I noticed it. I thought, that's new. And I thought, I'm just going to keep quiet. Let's see if anybody else notices. Joffanon says, I, for one, welcome our new blue overlords. Hentus likes this shade of blue. That's cool. Lexic Dark says, spanners for spatters. Oh, kinda. Spanners for ambassadors. Gaz Photography says, is Matt Nebworth Pedalston? Oh, yes, he very much is. He is Matt. I'm running into a station at full speed, no matter what, Pedalston. Lord Dapnut says, Isambard sounds like a mixed-class monk band bard in BG3. Could be. Chocky Transport says, oh no. Chocky says, I just thought it was one I had not bought. No, it's actually a new train that had not yet been revealed anywhere. And it had a little turtle on the front too. I don't think anybody noticed the turtle. Baramaro says, to be honest, the pink was so surprising I didn't even notice. Daytona says no, because I have little interest or knowledge in modern multiple units. That's fair. Bad Guy says, I didn't actually see any of it until they said something about it in the roadmap stream. Maybe it was a little late to the party this morning. I usually attend to avoid social media on April Fool. Now, I didn't watch the stream this morning because it started at 4 AM, I think, my time. It's a set of golf clubs. It's only a go via here, isn't it? I was stopping. Don't need to. Florian says, I honestly thought it was the 423, but didn't look too closely. Richie says the 430 was announced in March, but we had not seen it. Bad Guy says it's just madness. Chocky says I saw the turtle. You should have seen the stream intro. Oh, I've watched it since then. I watched it while I ate my dinner. Say hello to the signalman. Henter says, I'm kind of hoping they do give us the pink unit as well, with the turtle on the front, very important. Paramaro says, what time is it? For me, it's 8:30 PM. And it's 5:30 for you. That's a bit early. Bad Guy says it started at 10 AM for him and almost missed like 20 minutes of it. Gab says, the best stream with the best music. Ah, it was nice to just rickroll the planet. Why not? Seemed quite fair to me. We should be through the back of that by now, I would have thought. Yeah, we're just coming up on it, so we're speeding up momentarily. We're going to keep the power on. We're going to ignore the fact that we're now speeding. I don't care. Chocky says the NPC's dancing really got you. Indeed. Holy Trucker says we are 2 hours ahead of you in New Zealand. You are a little ahead. We'll be coming out of daylight savings soon, so that's an exciting time. Bad Guy says it's 2:30 AM here. Richie says, my favourite touch was the Wikipedia link for roads. Yes, I like that as well. I also liked the link at the end of the video, which was basically Rick again. So, rickrolling anybody that clicks the link. Well worthwhile. Florian says, the only thing that made me think in the joke roadmap was cardboard cutout of Frankfurt Airport long distance station, which was not in the route. So that station was included. I thought, cool. Yeah, so there were a few little Easter eggs in the April Fools that were actually true. By the time we power up to 70 miles an hour in this old beast, it'll be time to stop. It's a bit jerky today, isn't it? I don't know if I've got motion blur on or something else hideous. Gav says having the NPCs look like Rick Astley. Chocky says I clicked the link and it gave me an advert, so I didn't get rickrolled. I got rickrolled and I left it playing. I actually used it later on because we had a big meeting today, so our quarterly planning session. And I sneaked over to the Bluetooth speaker and connected to my phone to it and rickrolled everybody. When they weren't using it for announcements. It really did just seem fair. Holy Trucker says, are you going to buy the Missouri DLC for American Truck Sim? Probably. Jason says, hello from Canada. Amy says, honestly, I like Rick. I actually don't mind Rick Astley. He is from my generation. As distinct from the song My Generation, which is from an earlier generation. Jason says, what's poppin'? Well, it was going to be Isambard Kingdom Brunel, but we've got this one instead. Because, unfortunately, even though I did get to very briefly tease Isambard... Rail Driver's just turned the headlights off. And turned the wipers on. Yay, Rail Driver! Even though I did get to very briefly tease for 5 minutes Isambard Kingdom Brunel, if you rewind back to the start of the stream, you will actually see it. Unfortunately, the embargo that was lifted got put back down again. Can you stop that train? There we go. I knew you could do it. As we come rolling into Blackpool North, I have to say this is not somewhere that's exactly on my wish list for later this year. Jockey Transport says this is why you don't buy YouTube Premium. Richie likes a bit of Rick Astley. I had no dramas with Rick Astley. It's quite good. This one clears too, if I remember correctly. But we're still not going to go racing up to it. In fact, it's time to really annoy the passengers and just use the independent brake. Because I can. Amy says, I'm 20 years old, I shouldn't be liking him statistically. Well, why not? Hunter says, I've just seen the intro to last night's roadmap stream. That was well worthwhile, Andrus. It was just funny. Oh, it's just really cheesy crap, but it was funny. 109, hello. Just want to thank Chris at Dovetail. They gave me a free route while I wait for a patch for BPPs on PS4. That's nice. Very cool of them. Thank you, Signal. Brad Franklin, hello from Georgia, USA. Welcome along to the stream. If you're here for Isambard Kingdom Brunel, my apologies, because I have had to pull the content at the last second. Literally the last second. I'm just going to pop back there now and see if they've changed their minds yet. Because you never know. You never know. Doesn't look like it. Nah. Oh, well. They have not changed their minds yet. That's okay. Mind you, if they did change their minds, Richie and Hentus would run away and both start streaming it. I think I'm lucky that they're here, because, you know, otherwise they'd be streaming it too. That's okay. So how are people going anyway? Is everybody well? Hentus has been to Blackpool once, never again. Richie Rail says, I'm 24, love music from 40 odd years ago. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, you know. I listen to lots of different kinds of music. About the only kind of music I really don't get my head around is American rap. It just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't bother me if it's on. But I won't get up off the couch and go turn it off. But it's not something I listen to. But pretty much any other kind of music I will. Just get into it. Chucky says, I like old music as well. Daytona says, oh dear, this release has been fraught then. Unachievable deadline. No, I don't think it's an unachievable deadline. I think it's just a new developer that has run into a couple of issues at the last second. I think that's really all it is. I mean, since you saw it at the start, it looks fine. Just gently roll into the end here. Maybe not that gently. Hang on, could do this properly. Richie loves a bit of Motown. Amy, dubstep? Yeah, why not? I'll listen to dubstep. I actually listen to quite a lot of Boiler Room and Black Room and a couple of others. Do like a bit of techno. Near enough. Doors open. So I think we might take a pace around Cardiff now. Why not? Lord Dampnut says his music tastes peaked around 2008-2009. 80% of your library is from those 2 years. Anything newer is a soundtrack from games I enjoy. Fair enough. I don't think there's a wrong answer with music, really. It's such a personal, subjective thing. What you like is what you like, and that's pretty much it. Chocky says, unlike Incredible Trains, this developer is still releasing it with its major issues before fixing them. The release is still going ahead, just not the streams. So we shall see. We shall see if the release gets delayed or not. There's no word of that so far. And I wouldn't worry too much about Incredible Trains either. That was released in the state it was. Knowing the state. There we go. Despite some speeding, we get a platinum. Let's go off to Cardiff, I think. Amy says, I dropped a screw inside the leg of the desk. Well, you'll never see that again. Joffanon says, I feel old when I see people referring to the 90s as their childhood. I'm the child of the 1970s. Well, you're worried about. I was born in the 60s. Most of my childhood was 70s, but I was born in the late 60s. All right, let's go off to Cardiff. And what's the best way to get a pacer in here? Well, let's try and sneak one in on the timetable somewhere. Let's go later in the day. Let's go about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And why don't we... can we get one in at Cardiff Central? It's probably nearly impossible. Let's try and put it in up there. You probably only have to delete a train to put it in at Corriton. And we should make it... probably not that foggy, but we should make it a little bit foggy because it is Wales. Paul was born when everything was still black and white. You're not wrong, actually. Now, there's probably already a train in this block. 143. Not the DB 143, no. 142 maybe? There we go. Which one we run? We run, we'll run the ugly brown one. We'll run the ugly brown one for ages, and we want a loaded ugly brown one. Spawn. Yeah, something's already got the track, I think. So let's go and find what's got the track and delete it so we can put a train in here. There it is. Bye. Right. Now we'll be able to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, your train has been replaced with... Ta-da! And you thought a 150 sucked. Come on. I remember how to get in now. Come on. Open. Open. There we go. Forward? Oh yeah, master key first. Then forward. This one likes the rail driver. A little bit of brakes on, doors open. We want some headlights. Destination light on. Guards buzzing me already. I haven't even set a path. We will stop at all stations to Cardiff Central, naturally. And we should be able to get into this platform, I think. Should be fine. Looks good to me. Alright, let's get the doors closed. No one will get in anyway. I'll get the doors open, actually. I hadn't opened them yet. None of these people will get in because, you know, it's a pacer and they don't want to. They're going to wait for a glorious, luxurious 150. My game audio's cutting out a bit, is it? Hmm. That's a bit shitty. Shouldn't. But I accept that it is. I don't know why, though. It looks alright here. I said little drifty bars on the mixer. Weird. Did I put headlights on? Don't think I did I? Headlights. Off we go in the glorious pacer. I was actually amused to see a pacer Railtour announced. You know, I reckon Preston's the closest. Let's go to Preston. We must be at our next station, just about. Oh, Haysham will do. We'll go to Haysham. Yeah, I saw an ad for a pacer rail tour on a short. I thought that would actually be kind of cool. Gonna open? Oh, you have. That wasn't very noisy. Hello, Beaver Biddy. Joppanon says, to paraphrase Monty Python, do you want to board my pacer, bouncy bouncy? Yes. You know what? That might help a little bit. Just pretend nothing happened then. Welcome, Vitty. Just as the poor pacer gets up to speed, it's almost time to stop. I just heard my game audio cut out then. Most unusual. Pacer has really good brakes. Good enough. Good enough. Tree sim world. Watch that first step. Not that anybody will get in anyway. So it's just for the pretends. Off we go again. What shall we run after this? I shall take your suggestions. Did you all know a pacer was in your future? That's right, you're on a pacer. Uh-oh. Thomas up Licky, says Richie. Coastway, says Chocky. Enter says Thomas up the Licky back. Well, Licky's looking pretty popular. Licky. $5 Licky. I didn't say that. I was here. All of you who are now busily trying to cancel me out and report me to YouTube, all I can say to you is Licky. I got a win. Thinking of that, I got a YouTube win. There was a copyright claim on the video that I used Thomas music on, which I knew there would be. And they did the claim, I disputed it, they put the claim back on, I disputed it again, which is risky because if you can end up with a strike at that point. And they didn't respond within 30 days, I win! Video's back, monetized with Thomas sounds. I think the doors shut, didn't they? They did. Doors are very quiet on this one. Joffanon wants special on the blind. Alright then. Colin's pretty special. Two. Spin. There we go. Special. Properly aligned and all. As we come up to our next stop. Luke says, good evening. It's a pity you weren't here in the fun stream just before this one, where I had a voice bot reading out everything in the chat. That was kind of funny. It was just kind of fun. So if you have joined this stream and you're expecting to see 47484 Isambard Kingdom Brunel, I apologise. Just after the stream started, I was made aware that the embargo time had been altered, and we unfortunately can't stream it. So I had to take it down, and that's just life, really. So if you joined waiting for that, you'll just have to put up with me driving a pacer, I'm afraid. I thought I'd do this in honour of the announcement today that Just Trains are doing a pacer. What is that? Oh, I thought there was a person on it. That would have been funny. You do find people in the strangest places in this game sometimes. Full power on the pacer. Hold on to your seats. Grip it and rip it. Manu says Tubaku. I listened to Tuvalu. It's close. Florian says the TSG Loco Pack will be sensational, especially the 1984 LFR timetable. Give that route a massive boost. I tend to agree, Florian. And a green crocodile. What could go wrong? And the new green carriages too, which are, I think, quite welcome. It makes a big change to a bunch of Dostos, doesn't it? I am very much looking forward to that. That will be very cool. Chocky's having a laugh. Gab's having a laugh. Gab says, wow, you're surprised. Lexictaric says, that mean they're a bunch of John Thomases? Ah, not really. It's their content, they can do whatever they want with it. Chocky Transport said you should turn the voice back on for a laugh. I suppose I could, this just being a silly thing. Dispute the claim they put on the Thomas Sounds Hentus, because they will dispute your claim and then claim it again, and they will not respond. And you will probably win. I can turn the bot back on if you really want to. Give me a tick. I'll wake it up. Alright, and streamerbot as well. That's not looking very promising, is it? Hello, Ben Davis. I don't know why my bot's not working. Maybe there was some vestige of it still going. Okay, so streamerbot's up and running. Let's see what speakerbot says. Custom commands. Speakerbot should be okay. Okay, that much works. Let me get this sorted out, because it doesn't seem to have connected to the other one. WebSocket server is running. Three maps, you know OBS is there. Okay, integrations. Ah, I know what it is. I know what it is. Platforms, YouTube, account, login.
Train simulator driver says I am a monkey with the robot voice.
There you go.
Luke says that's terrible, Muriel.
Holy Trucker says, damn, you're making me consider buying Cardiff. Cardiff's actually very good. I quite enjoy it. Florian says, yes, the old green Umbau wagon. Rebuilt coaches are looking great and a real charm to the game.
Dark says testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Look at me, I'm a roadie, said speaker bot.
Someone was going to do that sooner or later. That was going to happen.
That's a cool bot.
I could spend money and get it a 60 voice.
Ben Davis says, hi, train simulator driver, have class 104, Peak Forest expansion pack be called from Simtrack Studios and not on roadmap.
It has been removed from the roadmap, Ben. Basically, it's because of a new policy. They don't want to have things on the roadmap that aren't coming out in the
Richie
foreseeable
says,
future.
why am I a woman?
I don't know, Richie. Why are you a woman? It's not my fault. I didn't do it. So, Ben, I dare say we'll get some news at some point. They also took down the
says Alexa, turn on the heating.
The German loco. I don't have Alexa, Hentus.
Lord Dampnut says at Ben Davis the PF104 will be exclusive to TSW6 Deluxe Edition. Chalky Transport says IT works. Oh, Richie, it's a random of the 3 Microsoft voices.
Luke says please stand clear, doors closing, LOL.
Well done, Luke. Hello,
Train
Casual.
Simulator driver says okay Google, will this work? What time is it?
Will it work? No.
Casual Rail says hello all.
Welcome, Casual. Now arriving, Cardiff Queen Street.
Casual Rail says is this all so you don't have to read the chat, haha.
Well, that was the
Rail
point of
says,
it.
will another ambassador.
Indeed, Casual is the newest ambassador, actually.
Chalky Transport says hey Google, what time is it?
Google's not listening to the robot. And I think the general consensus was Thomas going up Licky Bank for the next one, so we'll have to do that.
Luke says if only you could get an Indian voice.
We should give Thomas a challenge though, I think. So we'll make Thomas a formation.
Morning casual. Chalky Transport says we are now approaching Cardiff Queen Street. Change for Cardiff Bay. Take your stuff with you or we will sell them.
Ben Davis says will new Pacer 142 been free if already have Blackpool route?
Will it be free? I doubt it.
Chalky Transport says I spelt that so badly.
Let's jump out of here and get into Formation Designer.
Worman says we are now stopping at Cardiff Queen Street.
Actually, we don't need to make a formation for Thomas because Thomas has got a long formation.
Train Simulator Driver says get off my bloody train. Hentis Rail says very good in it.
Gav's Photography says welcome to Cardiff Queen Street, please stand clear of the platform, if you don't you will miss or stop.
You just get run over. It's on
Rail says can the bot say land fair pol guanjil go jirich wern drobo lanti silio gagagak.
Apparently it can. It's on Birmingham, isn't it?
Chalky Transport says, oh Richie, you devil face with tears of joy.
Luke says, attention passengers, this service terminates all change.
I'm trying to remember what the bloody Birmingham route's called.
Chalky Transport says.
We'll find it sooner or later.
Says, enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.
Consider supporting the channel by donating your colon.
/train simulator driver /
Birmingham Cross City, there it is. Right, timetable, on foot. And we want to go to the other end of the line. No, the other end of the line. No, the other end of the line. That one.
I can't pronounce my name, LOL.
But it can't pronounce my name either.
Richie Rail says, haha. I love it.
Hello, Pararail Netherlands. Welcome.
Want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/6.5.
Not 10 troublesome trucks, no. Mixed trucks, that'll do.
Flano9 says can use the bot for in-game platform and train announcements.
That one.
Nice. Face with tears of joy.
There he is. Thomas with trucks on Licky Bay.
Rail says Birmingham Cross City. Chalky Transport says Birmingham Cross City.
Indeed.
Horror Rail Netherlands says hello, waving hand light skin tone everyone.
This had to be done.
Gav's
really.
Photography says Cross City.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream.
Did it call it Night Boot? It did, didn't it? It called it Night Boot.
Let's not take an early access look at Athena Simulations 47,484 Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Keep going, Thomas.
Florian Scheuermann says.
Oh, hang on. Actually, no, don't keep going. Don't keep going at all. Stop. Because you need something.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text British Transport Police on 61,016. We'll sort it.
Look at the 323 guys staring at it going, what the?
Sorted.
Yeah, we've got to go. Not that station. Actually, that one will do. That's at the top. Bud Green.
We are getting a divorce. Sad face will single tear emoji.
Come on. You can do it. Yay! All right, Thomas. Now you can
Richie
go.
Rail says waving light skin tone ha ha ha. This bot is brilliant.
Lexic Dark says Florian, we need das Germany I got. Chalky Transport says you should then fly back down the incline and see how fast he gets. Gav's
Oh, we will.
photography says #nearest part.
We'll see if we can get up the bank first.
Pararail Netherlands says how brilliant they explain emojis, steam engine, railway cart, high-speed train, bullet train, metro, light rail station, railway track, face with tears of joy. Florian Ski Worman says J.A. Legacy. Zwangsbremsen. Zabin Flassan. LOL.
Yeah, it was pretty Coastwood's and Brinkson. It's actually two locally running bots. It's StreamerBot and SpeakerBot.
Rail says what is it for?
They're both .NET applications that you run on your own PC and you
says,
connect it up to YouTube.
Laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its tiny little wings are too small to lift its fat little body off the ground. The bee of course flies any.
Amy, that's just a good indication that you should never give up.
Amy says way because bees do not care what humans think is impossible. Yellow black, yellow black, yellow black. Oh, black and yellow. Let's shake it up a little. Florian Scheuermann says first was pretty good LOL.
Ooh, Thomas is actually struggling a little bit with this.
Train simulator driver says cipher.
A cipher. We'll have to make it do it this way.
Alex Toyne says see how a dog box would have done the climb. Florian Ski Worman says cipher Zwangsbremsen. Train simulator driver says Sifa.
That's better.
Pararail Netherlands says I'm rolling on the floor laughing, crying myself, laughing face with tears of joy.
I do remember the shitty old rail announcements, Luke.
Shitty rail announcements.
I don't think Thomas is going to get up the hill. This is a first. Oh no, we're picking up speed again now. Come on, Thomas. He's pretty close to making it. He's almost at the top.
89 says face green, smiling face blue, white eyes, glasses purple, yellow diamond face, pink tears, body green, covering eyes, face purple, smiling tears, octopus red, waving face blue, three eyes, face blue, question mark, go turquoise, white horns, go turquoise, white horns, hand orange, covering eyes.
That's a serious emoji. Goat, turquoise, white horns. Ah, he's made it.
Jockey
He's all
Transport
good.
says train simulator driver, do you like lemons?
I like lemons.
Amy
Make
says
lemonade out of them.
Sifa's veins Bremsen.
Alright, Thomas, you're going to have to go down again now.
Florian Ski Worman says the male voice clearly speaks German better. Gets Ski Worman pretty right. Face with tears of joy. Mexic Dark says and the fat controller was very upset.
Henty's Rail says Thomas causing chaos and confusion again. Jockey Transport says handbag, thong, sandal, graduation cap, prayer beads, high-heeled shoe, build cap, military helmet, muted speaker, ring, Nazar amulet, skis, candy, custard, motorway, bus stop, cross mark button, ballot box with check, 8-pointed star, Japanese symbol for beginner, cross mark, green salad, popcorn face, turquoise speaker shape.
I didn't even see that message come up.
Jovanan says at this speed, Thomas is causing confusion and delay.
Chalky Transport says goat, turquoise, white horns, goat, sheep. Train simulator driver says the fat controller. Luke says attention passengers, piss off, thank you for your cooperation. Chalky Transport says not the fat controller.
Henty's Rail says OMG. Pararail Netherlands says Ichting. Sifa.
Chalky Transport says you have caused confusion and delay. Thomas, go to the back of the shed and think about your actions.
That's what Thomas thinks.
Jofanan says at this speed, Thomas is causing confusion and delay.
Nick B says he is older than me and I struggle getting up hills too.
I'm okay with hills, I just struggle
Rail
getting into
everyone
steam
says
engines.
Sifa Sifa. Florian Scheuerman says ha ha ha. Chalky Transport says AWS and TPWS operational. Alex Twan says Platform 1, this train doesn't stop here, please stay away from platform edge.
Well, he's made it up the hill, because we are at the top of the bank now. So he's done well. So there's no need to take him all the way to Bart Green.
Out of bed.
Hentis Rail says hi at Nick B.
I think we all struggle getting out of bed sometimes. Alright, so let's actually, if we jump in there and we stop this, Thomas.
You got this virtual hug, good vibes, chilled up, chill cat, wash hands, sanitizer.
Welsh hands.
Nick B says hi at Henty's Rail.
Pararail Netherlands says rookie, get out of bed, it's daylight, teacup with handle. Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks. Gavs Photography says welcome aboard Thomas Express, please jump in the freight car and hold on tight, no seat belts or food and drink are not included and not stopping.
Alright, now we're getting this one a path.
Floriansky Werman says EEM at shine or damage.
And we'll take him right to the end of the route.
Alex Twan says all we need is tornado in the game.
Tornado would be cool. Alright, let's see how fast Thomas can go down the bank.
Badger89 says I figure Welsh hands was appropriate for the situation, face with tears of joy.
I had no idea there was an icon for Welsh hands.
Chalky Transport says every second time Nightbot tells me to smash the like button, that means I am due in liking the stream.
He's sounding a bit quicker this time.
Pararail Netherlands says outwinds Thomas's.
How fast do you reckon he can go down here? I actually know the answer to this question.
Transport says Alex, do you mean tornado weather or tornado?
Put your guesses in. How fast will he get going down the bank? He's been coughing all over you.
Alex Toy says the local. Gavs Photography says welcome aboard, not Thomas, please wave to him as he is not stopping.
Henty's Rail says face with tears of joy. Love it. Chalky Transport says yes. Richie Rail says 100 miles per hour.
Look at those wheels go.
Badger89 says neither did. Giovanni says ludicrous speed.
We've got 80 to 90, 100, ludicrous, 130.
Florian Skiwerman says 130.
They're still going up.
Chalky Transport says I got him to 90 without mods on high speed 1. The Eurostar driver is reporting confusion and delay. Hentis Rail says 115 miles per hour.
The best I've gotten Thomas to is 99.
Photography says for Henty's ha ha ha. Gav's Photography says Thomas will fly soon to the moon.
This is 323 driver going,
Says
what?
there's a big orange UFO in the sky here in southwest England. It is giving off a strange warm sun.
I think that might actually be the sun, you know.
I
know you don't see it very often.
Test for the brakes.
Brakes? Who needs brakes? We'll just go out the portal.
Transport says with mods, coupled to Scotsman, I did 132.
Wap, 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 wap.
Alex Dwan says it seems right since we got Flying Scotsman. I would be nice to see it in the glory of TSW5.
The man wants to see Scotsman. I don't have any Thomas mods. Have they, let's go and see if they've put our embargo back yet.
Chalky Transport says it is going to be 20 degrees on Thursday. The country is going to be in lockdown.
It was 23 here today. It's not even summer anymore. Right, to the trains.
Gav's Photography says Thomas has no brakes, rolling on the floor laughing.
I did hear someone want a Scotsman. Where are we going to put him, though? Edinburgh, Glasgow? Is that the only place that Scotsman's got a service on, really? Oh, that's better. West Somerset now, too slow. Fife Circle, East Coast Main Line, West Coast Main Line. Or do we just put him at the top of Shap and go down as fast as we can? You know, I wonder...
Chalky Transport says East Coast Way, please.
There you go. Chalky has spoken. We should do something morningish. Probably not that longer one, though. 17 minutes. There's a good one. 26 minutes. We'll do 26 minutes. And we'll do English weather. Light rain. There we go. Perfect. Here comes Thomas. So then we might run an SNG3, I think. I think that would be fun.
Chalky Transport says, yeah, that works.
It does work with Railtour. How about that? Wait for a moment.
Rail Netherlands says, is Thomas country bonded?
We're waiting for a moment in style. There we go. The Royals are in. Wait a moment, it says. Is there a signal in front of us, though? Oh, there is. That's sad. Oh, signal? What are we waiting for?
Chalky Transport says I did say East Coast Way, not East Coast Main Line, but I don't think the Scotsman has a service on the East Coast Way.
This is true. Come on, off we go. Come on, Scotsman. I know it's a long train, but you can do it. Come on. You can do it.
Lexic Dark says I thought I was watching the video where the wheels spin and then bad things happen. Nick B says gotta love Scotty.
Come on, Scotsman. You can do it. Don't roll backwards now. That would be boring. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Get a few more of those big woofs and be able to throttle a little bit. Now that it's moving.
Bonin says Scotty, beam me up.
And unlike an AI picture generator, we have a loco with a tender.
Gav's photography says Scotty Thomas can do your job, you're fired. Darth Spectre says and she's on her way. Pararail Netherlands says very dry from Thomas. Pararail Netherlands says very different from Thomas.
It is a little different from Thomas, yes. Whee! We'll just have to be patient and let her pick up some speed, I think. Might take her a little while. She might lose it on those points up there.
Joe Bonin says but Scotty has also caused confusion and delay.
Scotty always causes confusion and delay.
Nike
It's
says
built in.
please smash the like button to promote the stream. Smiley face. Thanks.
I do see a couple more people just join. If you're here to
Says little blue engine swapped for big green engine.
see Isambard Kingdom Brunel, I had to stop streaming it.
Chalky Transport says what does it make of those symbols?
And you know what happens to Jockey Transport for doing that?
Lord Dampnut says, degree. Lexicard says with too much low-end torque there's not enough traction action.
Chalky Transport says oh it didn't say the symbols.
See you later, Hentus.
Hentis Rail says right gotta shoot Paul. As usual it's been a pleasure and such a supercalifragisticexpialidocious stream.
It managed that.
Chalky Transport says smiling face with open mouth and
Good luck for the afternoon, Hentus. Come on, Scotsman. Come on. Come on.
Florian Ski Woman says almost broke him there, haha.
Chalky Transport says bye henties. Adge89 says face with spiralized, that's how that made me feel, face with tears of joy.
Darth Spectre says what part of WCML is Isambard Kingdom? I don't remember seeing that on my way to London, rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Rail says in tears here by all.
Gav's Photography says LOL by henties.
Pararail Netherlands says Hentis enjoyed Preston day face with tears of joy.
says, okay, I promise to stop that.
It is this run.
Rishi Rail says, I don't think you should keep doing that
1744
at
London
Choppy
King's
Transport.
Cross to York.
Melbourne train guy says, is this one of the Scotsman's WCML runs at TST?
Oh, we can stop Jockey Transport doing it, don't worry.
Man says chaos in the chat today. Face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
It got bloody loud in that tunnel, didn't it?
Says elbow cuff, 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 elbow cuff.
The bot does have its work cut out for it.
Horror Rail Netherlands says, I blame the AI voices Florian.
That guy 89 says that's why I had to throw some dabs in you.
We're getting a little bit quicker. Thomas was still faster though.
Casual Rail says, oh hello flying Scotsman, you beauty.
She's got a decent train on her, I'll give it that. Oh, no wonder it was so bloody heavy. There's a 66 on the back. Doing nothing. It's doing nothing. Bastard. Apart from having its headlights on. If I'd known that was there, I would have cut it off. Chalky will be back in a couple of minutes, don't worry.
Says Thomas has that plot armor and can do attitude.
He can indeed.
Dark Spectre says, how did that get there, LOL. Melbourne train guy says, is there anything to watch out for on this one? Besides the shit slightly smiling face.
He just drive.
Badge 89 says, well, they were supposed to be dabs, not elbow cups, face with tears of joy. Amy says the 66 is for carriage power.
Choppy Transport says
It could help push, Amy.
Rail Midlands says Thomas is that engine.
Very lazy shed, Gav. Bad Guy says, what would have more power, the Flying Scotsman or Thomas? Well, Thomas runs on magic, so clearly Thomas is going to win that. Florian says, the lead ballast at the back of the Railtour again.
Says, lead ballast on the back of the Railtour again.
Dark Spectre says, we got to watch out for the engine slacking at the back. Badge 89 says, well, that steam engine has some torque. Casual Rail says, looking forward to seeing Scotsman on the GWR remaster when we get it.
Oh, it won't let me. You know, they really shouldn't have derailed. It really shouldn't. But anyway, let's go and run an SMG3 as we were asked to ages ago.
Shelter in, shelter in, shelter in, shelter in.
Amy says Thomas in its stock configuration behaves kind of like a DC model, and I love that.
That's what they were aiming for, I believe. So yes, it does. All right, let's go and do a proper run with
Darth
an
Spectre
SNG.
says not the mid-journey uncouple. Darth
will we
Spectre
do?
says how would it have derailed from that?
It shouldn't. Now, is this a stopper? Drive this passenger service
Spectre
in
says
Groningen
LOL.
as well.
Gav's
stopper.
photography says LOL face with tears of joy.
Hopefully that's a
Choppy
stopper. We'll
Transport
drive it.
says, well, that was an anticlimax. Florian Ski Werman says ooh. It was suddenly pushing the train.
Yes, very suddenly, as it crushed through the back carriage. Now, is this one a stopper? Looks like it is. Not everywhere, though. But a few. Alright, let's get it set up, if I can remember how. Master key.
Pararail Netherlands says yes, Sprinter is a stopper.
Wait, stop that. You stop that. It read the rail driver, unfortunately, and it took off with the doors open, which is a little bit unfortunate. And now it's got the windscreen wiper running. Alright, still got the doors open. That's good. Let's get the wiper off, if we can. I was doing lights with the rail driver's wiper thing. Okay, that'll work.
Bad Guy 89 says, hey, I found something to board, couldn't say, thinking face.
Darth Spectre says, not the stiff upper lip of the Grimsby-born driver that decided to spawn in and ram into our last carriage.
It was a bad 66. Naughty shed.
Florian Ski Werman says, I wonder how the voice handles Dutch pronunciations.
Badly, probably.
Darth Spectre says, I'd like to know how he got in there. Gav's
Time
photography
to lock
says,
up.
LOL, are you running away? Bad Guy 89 says, can anybody speak in a foreign language and see how the bot reacts? Cause that might be funny, thinking face with tears of joy. Pararail Netherlands says, LOL, gear selector is the witness switch.
You know what I hadn't turned on?
Transport says, can we hear it accelerate from exterior camera with flash, please?
Nightbot says, enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train-simulator-driver/joy.
/joy. I didn't know I ran a joy channel. That's very specific. Some people like trains too much, clearly.
Bad Guy 89 says, buffering. Chalky Transport says, I think Melbourne train guy was driving that shed.
Could have been.
Pararail Netherlands says, how dat gonik gemakkelie proberen. Nightbot says, want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/zxacbngjh5. Melbourne train guy says, at Chalky grinning squinting face.
Nightbot says, please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks. Florian Ski Werman says, ICH Glob das Word.
I was listening to the noise going, what's that? I'm calling it's dead man.
Deutsch face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
Let's just turn you off again, because you're just going to be annoying, aren't you? Oh, that one. That one.
Darth Spectre says.
Lord Dampnut says, are there buttons in cab to close the doors or only open?
Badge
I believe they do
says, I'm
both.
totally buffering over here, face with tears of joy.
Chalky Transport says, the next stop will be Groningen Europe Park.
Stream looks okay
Michael
from a
Licky
buffering
says,
perspective.
hi, how are you?
Hey, Michael.
Pararail Netherlands says, de Volgende station is Groningen Sport Park station, Groningen Sport Park.
Darth Spectre says, well, that's it then. Darth Spectre says it can't read other languages.
Gav's photography says, LOL, bad guy, can't help your excitement, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Thanks, Richie.
Rishi Rail says, stream is all good here.
Amy says, Nack Saint Halt Estelle, Trauma Hauk Bahnhof.
It didn't do too bad on Hop
Badge
Bahnhof.
89 says, no, I didn't mean the stream was buffering, I was just messing with the bot because I put in a buffering emoji and it just said buffering and I'm like that, totally face with tears of joy. Lexic Dark says, Monty Python had a sketch, how do I find the train station? In German is, Main Blaze Tift is Rot. Chalky Transport says, the audio keeps cutting out for me, face orange TV shape.
Nick
If
B
you're getting
says,
audio
"I'm
cutting
looking
out,
forward to
reload,
buying
Jockey.
this route and the Welsh one, but I've decided April is another not buying any DLC unless there is a sale month. My other hobby is taking my money this month."
That's fair enough. There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting for a sale.
Pararail Netherlands says we're all plotting something against you, specifically Darth Spectre. Amy says I meant to do Tramor, damn it. Florian Ski Worman says it is pronounced Rowan Ninja. I think Mrs. Robot face with tears of joy.
Badju89 says at Yav's haha face with tears of joy.
Chalky Transport says I have reloaded and I will see.
There you go, you've heard it accelerate now.
Chalky Transport says this train sounds really nice.
We'll get it over 100 shortly, because that's where I think it was Lord Dampnut was complaining it makes a weird noise.
Chalky Transport says the next stop is Heron. Thanks for letting me hear it accelerate.
Florian Scheuermann says I love this route. Fantastic detail, and the trains are fun.
Lord Dampnut says yeah, when you get to 100 kilometers per hour.
Badju89 says popcorn yellow striped smile, popcorn yellow striped smile, face blue spam shape, takeout, takeout.
Noodles! Quiet you. Next stop, Heron.
Pararail Netherlands says De Valgen Station is Heron. Station Heron.
The doors will open on the right.
Florian Scheuermann says noodles.
I had a very nice burger tonight. Driven 10 Ks. I'm tipping I've done more than that.
Badju89 says noodles, noodles, noodles everywhere, face with tears of joy.
I better get lots of brakes on. Actually, no, it's only yellow. It's fine. I was thinking this next signal was red.
Nick B says I have plenty of TSW content on my Xbox to keep me content. I bet the bot gets one of the content pronunciations wrong. He he he.
Yav's Photography says I want noodles now, damn you bad guy, LOLJKS rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Bad guy's full of good jokes.
Lord Dampnut says I can't hear it on the stream, but the noises in cab are obnoxiously loud for me.
Turn it down, Lord Dampnut. Yeah, I didn't hear any particular
Melbourne Train
noise.
Guy says I think it might be lupus.
We'll try again as it crosses the 100k boundary and just see what it sounds like.
Says you can't stappen under Richter can't.
Jofanan says you have not experienced Shakespeare until you have read him in the original Klingon, Topiki, Ta HBE.
I had
Transport
very
says
nice burger. Oops, wrong doors.
Lord Dampnut says I am content with what you said at Nickby. Chalky Transport says I don't like noodles but I want a burger now.
Bagguy89 says I had buffalo chicken wings and scalloped potatoes, drooling face.
Very nice.
Nick B says you like my content, eh? Darth Spectre says against me, how ominous.
Lord Dampnut says it's the regular volume I use for all the locos. If I turn it down I can't hear anything, lol.
Maybe when it's turned up really loud. Let's just try
Darth
that.
Spectre says lol.
Badge89 says and Gabe pop down to the local market, get yourself some ramen, drooling face.
That guy 89 says oh thanks Paul, the first do try, some of them don't come off as well as I would have planned though, hedge or good.
I turned it all the way up and I didn't hear any particular change in sound.
Content with the contents of this content. Nick B says I does seem to be able to differentiate. Gav's Photography says at back I have a noodle box down the road for me.
Noodle box. Off we go to Assen. And how ironic that while we're going to Assen, the moon's in the sky. It's only a half moon though.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream, smiley face, thanks.
They do look cool, don't they?
He says can it manage that famous place in North Wales? Lord Dampnut says sounds much better on the stream. Is there some weird issue with sound when it's too loud? Scotty did it at one point but they fixed it.
It's possible it's clipping if you've got it up too loud. If it's just got too much sound and the sound channel can't handle it, it'll clip. And that would sound very weird. Probably very bad. I notice they're very kind to you if you're being a conductor or a guard on these runs, because all your tickets are in the same carriage you're in, because you can't get to the other one.
Chalky Transport says next stop is Assen. Please get your asses off the train and take your stuff with you. We will put any left belongings in our Christmas raffle.
Gav's Photography says at night, but can you smash a box of noodles for a like rolling on the floor laughing?
I'm wondering where the cars on the other side are going to go. Oh, look at that. They come over here.
Lord Dampnut says by the PC standards it's not loud, only 50%. It's the SNG in cab sounds that I'm having issues with.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't really hear anything change
stream.
at that speed.
Hit the dislike button to ruin the stream. Badge89 says well, if the stream was Sesame Street the word of the day would be noodles.
Lord Dampnut says LOL Amy. Pararail Netherlands says Assen will take a while for any announcements.
This is true. It's a very interesting crossing, Darth Spectre. I think the bot's died. Maybe I've hit my limit on the API.
Darth Spectre says,
oh no, there it goes.
Diabolical crossing. Jofanan says at Nick the what? Wrexham.
This is done nicely.
Floriansky Werman says can as a can canned food face with tears of joy.
Darth Spectre says I've had no sound issues.
The bot's back, baby.
Baguy89 says I think we've killed the bot face with tears of joy.
Chalky Transport says we killed the bot, we win.
I think what probably happened
Chalky
is I got paused on the
Transport
API with YouTube because
Lexic Dark
I
says
don't have
saw
paid
you
access to
eating
the
chicken in
API,
the
and
kitchen.
I used a
I am
default
mighty tongue twister
connection
bot.
key.
Lord Dampnut says actually thinking about it, my DAC has surround and I boosted the rear channels, so it's likely boosted the fan noise from behind where I'm sitting. Next time I'll try it in stereo.
That is quite possible, Lord Dampnut. Are you running the air conditioning? Because you can turn that on, I think. I can't remember which switch it is, but you can turn it on and off.
Darth Spectre says yes, you would catch me trying to drive across that, aha.
Melbourne train guy says Welsh town name out of curiosity land fair Polkwangel Gojerich Warndrovo Lanticilio Gagagag.
Richie tried that earlier, Melbourne train guy. You missed him.
Gav's photography says the noodles nearly killed the bot rolling on the floor laughing. Chalky Transport says the water looks stunning, shame it doesn't look like that on Cardiff City Network or Birmingham Cross City.
Birmingham's too old for good water, but Cardiff should have had it, yes.
Nick B says LOL.
Nick B says that is the one.
Badger89 says if I ever get a bot I want one that does things that Bender does, because you know what Bender's cool nerd face.
Bender bends things.
Badger89 says I only run the air conditioning in my trains if I can feel it face with tears of joy.
Let's put on a fan then.
Lord Dampnut says I haven't touched any con rolls to indicate aircon running, but can look to see if it's on by default and turn it off. Melbourne train guy says oh bugger. But at least it got it.
Pararail Netherlands says thinking face, most onboard things are on the right in the cab.
Darth Spectre says y'all are too entertained by this bot's monotonous voice, ha 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 ha. Chalky Transport says I always turn the air conditioning and the fan on because I get hot so easily.
Florian Scheuermann says noodles caused emotional damage. Nick B says I did used to have a postcard from there and it did include the full English translation as well.
Gav's photography says there's Matterstock rolling on the floor laughing.
Train simulator driver says Tree Sim World.
Bagguy89 says maybe you have your air conditioning attached to Train Sim World by some weird connection process, so when you turn it on in the train it will turn on in real life face with tears of joy.
Darth Spectre says I'd like more trains to have the HVAC system adjustable. I like to feel the passengers are alright on a cold run. Darth Spectre says too many drivers leave the heater on in summer and off in winter.
That's naughty.
Gav's photography says Water Sim World.
Melbourne train guy says 13006 55506. Amy says turn the cab aircon on to stop your computer overheating while playing Train Sim World.
Mine's doing okay today. It's running at 55 Celsius on the GPU and 52 on the CPU. In my steam engine, we keep leaving the heater on and forgetting to turn it off. Now approaching Assen.
Darth Spectre says is yours water cooled as well?
My PC is water cooled, yes. The GPU's not, but the CPU and the case are. It's got a big 460 radiator on it. It's the biggest one I could get that would still fit in my case, and even then I had to hack the case a little bit to make it fit. It's a whopper.
That guy 89 says too bad no one here has an Alexa because you know I could say Alexa play disco thinking face.
I think you could do better than that, bad guy.
Darth Spectre says remind me not to get on your steam engine in high summer lol.
Pararail Netherlands says de Volgendie station is Assen station Assen.
In summer, the steam engines are about anywhere between 60 and 70 degrees Celsius.
Like a jet plane when I run the WCML routes. Train simulator driver says Alexa, play Rick Astley.
Darth Spectre says oh as long as it does the job.
Chalky Transport says I have an Alexa but I have my headphones in so she won't hear me. Darth Spectre says wow that's quite warm.
It is quite warm, and that's why we ride on the outside.
Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
Whoa. I wonder what it does with this. Let's try. I'm curious.
Train simulator driver says Swola via Violin, Ujveen and Meppel.
Chalky Transport says hey Google play Rick Astley.
It's not gonna work.
That guy 89 says I'm back my YouTube crashed.
Ah. Death by YouTube. Is
Gav's
that better than Death by
says,
Noodles?
welcome aboard Netherlands Spoorwegen. This service is running on noodle time. If you want to get on time go and choose the Koploper which will be quicker rolling on the floor laughing.
Hey, it did alright with Koploper. That wasn't too bad. I thought it was funny when everybody was calling it the Koploper. And then of course there's Trucker who was calling it something else because he's naughty.
Chalky Transport says this train is for Zwolle. Het Volgen station is Violin.
Lexic Dark says I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.
Rick for the win. It's having a good think about Nick's message.
Musical note never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you musical note.
Darth Spectre says I know this bot goes home after a long day's work in this live and vents to Cortana Siri Alexa and Microsoft Sam.
What do people think of having the
I think some noodles got into
chat read out?
And caused it to crash, so I'll blame it on the noodles.
The power of the noodle. You cross to the dark noodle.
Gav's Photography says even THR company name.
I know someone with a dog
Chalky
named Noodle.
Transport says never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye. Amy says TBF I said cop similar to cop as my first thought was German cop.
Lexic Dark says bot says, you did ask for it. Amy says cop meaning head in German.
Nick B says at least it isn't Kajagoogoo.
But if you guys think that I should actually run the speaker bot on streams, I would put some money into it and give it a better voice.
When you ask a question because you will hear all of the responses and not miss any. Badger89 says I think it's great but I can't help but male want to mess with it all the time. I think it's my ad rolling on the floor laughing.
Oh, people will mess with it, that's for sure.
Melbourne train guy says Viva Forever, I'll be waiting, everlasting, like the sun. Lord Dampnut says I like the robotic voice. Lord Dampnut says matches the let's play a game from your intro.
That's actually me in the let's play a game thing.
Lexic Dark says speaker bot certainly is a weird distraction. Not to be confused with the train traction.
I've just got a massive cramp in my foot.
Darth Spectre says ready for the well-funded Cockney accent.
Chalky Transport says shall we play a game?
Lord Dampnut says shall we play a game?
And at the end of it, it says we played a game.
Says the bots go home and say, what an annoying day. All those fools did was made me say dumb stuff. They don't take me seriously, disappointed face. Chalky Transport says hope your foot is good.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just messaging it now.
Chalky Transport says we played a game.
Amy says the way it says distraction reminds me of heaven destruction. Baguy 89 says oops pillow turquoise hot chocolate.
Where did you get hot chocolate
Licky
from?
says gore blimey, we're a vinna laugh aimsha winking face.
It did that alright.
Damo says never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Back to Rick.
Melbourne train guy says does it do the Nightbot commands, SPAD for example?
It could.
Darth Spectre says Cortana says at least you get used. I've been on this PC for 5 years and I haven't been used once.
Let me try something.
Chofanan says the only winning move is not to play.
Just got to keep a bit of an eye on the speed. We've got a little while to Beelin. So if I go to Speakerbot and
Badge89 says I'm honestly not sure how that pulled out hot chocolate out of that rolling on the floor laughing.
Florian Ski Worman says Dispot is peak in it blood. Less of that face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
Darth Spectre says LOL.
Baguy 89 says eyes pink heart shape, face orange biting nails, face blue wide eyes, face turquoise drinking coffee.
Hang on the time, 2.9 Ks.
Darth Spectre says it took a long pause before reading that message. I know it rolled its eyes.
Amy says have you heard of the Astley paradox? If you ask Rick Astley for a copy of Disney Pixar's Up, he will not give it to you because he's never going to give you up, but by doing so he is letting you down.
How do I make it actually do it, though?
Darth Spectre says the bot tired of our ass for sure.
Oops. I'm just trying to set up a command in the bot and I'm realizing...
Station is Balin. Station
Yes.
Balin.
Chalky Transport says stop the train.
Yes. We'll see if we still have a door in the platform. But I was trying to set up a command on the bot. But it didn't want to do what I... Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing an action. Okay. Add.
Baguy89 says YT colon fingered number 1 colon YT.
Gav's photography says Paul stop the train.
YouTube chat.
Lord Dampnut says,
Message.
Nebworth.
Nightbot says I think you missed a station at Train Simulator driver, better go back if you can.
I'll have to try and set that up later.
Chalky
Speak
Transport
about-
says you did this at the
speak.
station before. Florian Scheuermann says, Nebworth. Darth Spectre says average experience on the Metropolitan line.
Gav's photography says, Nebworth. Chalky Transport says Nightbot WPW. Pararail Nederland says stop that train, I wanna get on. Floriansky Werman says no Nebworth. Damo says come on guys, help him drive.
I was just trying to make a command work and it doesn't really want
Jovanen
to.
says
So
Nebworth, we have a problem.
the Nebworth's done.
Did you
It's
just
okay.
run through that station? Did you just run through that station?
Nightbot says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train simulator driver/join. Did you just run through that station?
Did you just run through that station?
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/skpnch5.
Let's just try that. It'll either work or it won't.
Did you just run through that station?
Hey, it
Did you
works.
just run through that station? Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Smiley
made it work.
face. Thanks.
So it knows
Just
it
run
knows
through that
Nebworth now.
station?
But it doesn't know how to stop.
Lexic Dark says ladies and gentlemen, our driver is having a technical pause. Please do not look behind the curtain.
There you go.
Gav's photography says Pararail go and wait for the next train LOL face with tears of joy.
Did you just run through that station? Florian Ski Werman says my name is not Ski Werman FFS face with tears of joy.
Did you just run through that station? Darth Spectre says Florian Ski Woman.
Did you just run through that station? Train Simulator driver says, Nebworth. Did you just run through that station? Nightbot says I think you missed a station at Train Simulator driver, better go back if you can.
Did you just run through that station?
Did you just run through that station?
Florian Scheuermann says I can't even FKN ski.
Darth Spectre says it's instructing you to do so LOL.
Did you just run through that station?
Did you just run through that station?
Chalky Transport says, Nebworth. Did you just run through that station?
Melbourne train guy says what about Spot?
I'm just trying to make SPAD
Badger
work.
89 says baseball white cap out whistle red blow hydrate.
Did you just run through that station? Melbourne train guy says I think it's broken. Did you just run through that station? OMG, the signal is read stop 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 stop. Oh, too late time for a meeting without tea and biscuits.
It works.
Horror Rail Netherlands says it's definitely broken hard now. Did you just run through that station? Darth Spectre says, dear passengers, as we ignore our driver's oversight, avoid the incoming train as you jump down onto the tracks before making your way back to the platform yourself.
Good plan.
Did you just run through that station?
Nick B says, I have no issue with Nebworth as long as Iron Maiden are playing their Sign of the Horns.
Did you just run through that station?
Chalky Transport says, what is going on here? It keeps saying about a station.
It does. I don't know why it's doing that.
Did you just run through that station?
It shouldn't.
Did you just run through that station?
I wonder if I've got it on
Train
loop.
Simulator driver says, Spad.
Did you just run through that station?
Nightbot says, you know that light at Train Simulator driver. It was red. A little bit. Well, a lot really.
I wonder if it's looping
Chalky
it.
Transport says, this train is Borzwola. Het Baljan station is Hujbeen.
Did you just run through that station?
I think the bot is getting back at us. Anyway, I'm going to delete the triggers, so it should stop doing it, I hope. But
Did you just run
it does
through
seem to
that
work.
station?
Did you just
Stop it.
run through that station?
Amy says, one desk assembled.
Chalky Transport says so.
Well done, Amy.
Scarred, it has a special message and net worth. Did you just
It shouldn't.
run through
It should.
that
It shouldn't
station?
say Spad and Nebworth anymore. But I might have to kill it to make it stop.
No, that's bad grammar. Did you just run through that station? Gav's Photography says, welcome aboard Netherlands Spoorwegen. This service, we are 7 minutes ahead of schedule. This service has Wi-Fi and free food and drinks. No seats left. Please wait for the next train. Did you
There's
just
plenty
run
of seats
through
there.
that station?
It's
Did
still
you
saying
just
it, isn't
run
it?
through that station?
Hang on, let me kill it.
Baguy89 says, did you just run through that station?
Boink. Bye bye, streamer
OMG,
bot.
the signal is red. Stop 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 stop. Oh, too late time for a meeting without tea and biscuits.
Darth Spectre says this bot is getting back at us for making fun of it.
Must have a lot of stuff in the
OMG,
queue.
The signal is red. Stop 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 stop. Oh, too late time for a meeting without tea and biscuits.
Just restarted them both. And I need to reconnect StreamerBot to YouTube because it will have forgotten. There we go, connecting back in now.
Train Simulator driver says test.
There we go, bot's back. I had to kill it to make it stop saying that. And yes, it did just glitch, 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 glitch,
Florian
glitch, glitch.
Schillerman says, still going. They are taking over. LOL. They are stopping at our station. I think face with tears of joy. Chalky Transport says he actually just ran through that station.
Melbourne train guy says, did you just run that station? Darth Spectre says Alexa was right, he did run through that station.
Horror Rail Netherlands says Het Baljan station is Hujbeen. Late Mar was Hujbeen.
That guy 89 says no, you are aware that everyone in here is going to start saying did you just run through that station rolling on the floor laughing.
I think they already are, bad guy.
Chalky Transport says I am going to get some lunch quickly, you just ran through that station while you were not looking.
Does it really surprise you?
Darth Spectre says Microsoft Sam said and they really replaced me with this bot. HMPH. Florian Ski Worman says flew through who been there haha. Lexic Dark says at this rate I'm going to run through that, never mind.
Train Simulator Driver says hi, I'm Clippy, I am here to help.
It's alright, I was busy writing some piping.
This train is for Zwolle. Het Volgende station is Meppel. If our driver remember to stop.
You didn't forget to stop, he just wasn't watching, he was writing piping.
Clippy back.
Clippy is back! Clippy's back in Office 365.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
Jofanan says that bot seems to have an aversion to see it, say it, sorted. Disappointed face. Horrorrail Netherlands says Passagiers voor Hujbeen het spitcht ons wat you overkwam. You kunt stappen in Meppel en de Volgende train terug nemen. Excuses voor het ongemak.
Hi. Do you want to drive the train? It's kind of easy. Kind of does it by itself.
Florian says the bots literally brainwashed you into missing a station. Scary.
Yeah, that's on the right way around. Well done.
Run through that station, we should know we did not just walk through the station, but we did run through that station. Because when it comes down to it in life, does one just walk through stations?
John Emmanuel Ramos Henderson says hello there, John here from the Philippines.
Hello, John from the Philippines. How are you? If you were joining to see Isambard Kingdom Brunel, unfortunately, I had to pull it at the last minute because Dovetail asked us to all not run it. So just checking on that, see if there's anything changed. Doesn't look like it, no.
Lexic Dark says hello passenger, don't you think Chatbot is driving the train well?
Baguy 89 says person blue holding pencil volcano green lava orange person yellow podium blue face pink drinking tea face purple raindrops.
Really? I think we need some puns, bad guy.
Says Chatbot said move over, let me take the wheel. Darth Spectre says I will show you how to not run through that station.
Chalky Transport says you did not run through it, stay in.
Ooh, pigeons. We just ran through another one, but we're supposed to. We're on our way to Meppel.
Horrorrail Netherlands says Jesus takes the wheel. Our weight light skin tone were on rails.
Florian Ski Worman says bot hijacked the train and is now driving to Cuba. Face with tears of joy.
Train Simulator Driver says Greg the stop sign.
Baguy 89 says face with tears of joy, I think we do too.
You know what, Gav? I actually think I could make that work.
What sound does a nut make when it sneezes? Cashew.
Gav's Photography says lucky this is not like Matt letting chat drive stream with the bot rolling on the floor laughing.
I do reckon I could make the bot activate the controls in the train, because all I have to do is feed it keyboard commands and it can do that.
Lexic Dark says bot says, I'm on the drug that killed River Phoenix.
Darth Spectre says imagine if they gave Ari free reign in Train Sim World 17 and we get live route updates and platform alterations in real time.
Train Sim World 17 would be out just in time for me to retire, so I'd have plenty of time.
The guy who cut off the left side of his body. He's all right now.
That was really bad guy. Thank you. That's what we need.
Chalky Transport says yo, let us drive.
I reckon I could make that work. I'll have a go at it. I won't do it now.
Says rolling on the floor laughing.
But I reckon I should be able to do that. Because I know it can do keyboard commands, but what I'm not sure is it can send commands to a particular... Excuse me, I got hiccups. It can send commands to a particular application. Because if it can, then, yeah, we probably could make chat drive the train. A simple train, anyway. One with a controller like this that's just power on, power off, and the reverser. We'd probably make that work.
Darth Spectre says not that terrible joke from Britain's Got Talent.
Britain has talent?
Darth Spectre says LMAO.
Oops. Come on, get in the right spot.
Chalky Transport says how do I do this? I need to install this.
It's called SpeakerBot, Chalky.
89 says you're welcome. I've got more where that came from.
And if you want to make SpeakerBot work...
That's what we want. The
if you
voices in your head taking control of heavy machinery. Ha ha ha.
Darth
Legendary.
Says, no, it didn't.
Gav's Photography says LOL, God help us, rolling on the floor laughing.
Florian Scheuermann says, what do you call the most famous cow of all time? Legendary. Cow face, cold face.
They're terrible jokes.
Bad Guy 89 says why is Peter Pan always flying? Because he's never landing. Darth Spectre says the audience sat in silence when the lady told that we are all right joke.
Darth Spectre says, wow, look, we are stopping at a station.
We are. At Meppel.
Horror Rail Netherlands says SpeakerBot does whatever a SpeakerBot does.
Pretty much. But it's two bots that you run together. There's StreamerBot, which is the thing that picks up the commands from YouTube, and there's SpeakerBot that does the actual talking. And you have to connect them together.
Horror Rail Netherlands says Volgen Station is Meppel. Station Meppel.
Complete with many, many push bikes.
Darth Spectre says take it in guys, this is the last station we are not running through.
Yeah, if you run through the next one there'd be problems.
Chalky Transport says my dog used to chase people on a bike. It got so bad. I had to take his bike away.
That's pretty bad, Chucky. Welcome to Meppel. We're early. Never happens.
Darth Spectre says these jokes are diabolical, lol.
Horror Rail Netherlands says must be a Dutch dog.
Dutch bike riding dog. What if it likes cookies? Maybe it sits in windows sometimes and just watches out.
Darth Spectre says we are early because we ran through some stations.
Because we were naughty. Oh, can't go that way. Invisible wall dot world.
Bagguy89 says here's one for you, Paul. I want to be cremated as it is my last hope for a smoking hot body.
It's very true.
Bagguy89 says rolling on the floor laughing.
I have what's called an all-round figure. Next stop, Swole. Full power. Do you really know when chat's gone quiet when it's talking?
You can only do it once too. Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
Must be a cat then. He hates being picked up.
Rishi Rail says I'm back, briefly. Just had to hop into a meeting. Lexic Dark says how do you organize a space party? You plan it. We like it because SpeakerBot is deadpan.
That's pretty bad, Lexic Dark. Welcome back, Richie.
Chalky Transport says meow.
Just pop your headphones in and sit in the toilet and watch it.
Group from Swole.
Badger89 says what was Forrest Gump's email password? 1Forrest1.
Train simulator driver says that is no moon, that is a space station.
Seem fair.
Darth Spectre says when I get a cat I will name it Magnanimous. Nick B says laugh it up, fuzzball. Floriansky Werman says a rich Frenchman was showing me his yachts. This one is UN, this Deux, this Trois, Quarter, and this Six. What happened to the fifth I ask? Sank skull.
I was just looking at the dirt on the windscreen there thinking I need to clean my monitor, but of course it's not, is it?
Says Kitty Cat. Rishi Rail says I kept it playing for them sweet whitey figures.
Thank you, Richie. More numbers is good
says
numbers.
You don't need to reveal our plans as far as they are concerned, that is a moon. Train simulator driver says that one is named Busy Being Me.
It's the name of the cat.
Melbourne train guy says be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director.
Badger89 says I don't trust stairs because they're always up to something.
Darth Spectre says rolling on the floor laughing.
Couple pas.
Darth Spectre says I also don't trust them because they're also very downtrodden, they could want revenge.
Doesn't want to go over there. Never mind.
Melbourne train guy says you saw all in Big Dog on L.
Nick B says Darth Vader told Luke, I know what you are getting for Christmas. Luke said, how can you possibly know? Darth replied, I have felt your presence.
Chalky Transport says two guys walk into a bar. The third guy ducks.
Chalky Transport says quack.
Pararail Netherlands says whispers enjoy the silence.
Bagguy 89 says a Dark Spectre rolling on the floor laughing true. Lexic Dark says, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it is apparent.
Train Simulator driver says you get into trouble feeling someone's presence if they didn't ask you to.
Sam says G Paul late stream.
It is a little bit.
Transport says, will we stop at the next station?
When we
Nugget
get to
says,
Swole,
make sure
I'll
you
actually
stop.
end the stream there. Because it is a bit past my bedtime and I've still got to feed about 1 million animals.
Chalky Transport says, I'm sorry I had to try. Darth Spectre says Luke still owes me money.
Darth Spectre says, and he had the audacity to go disappear into the Force.
Seemed necessary. How long can we stay water skiing towed by a train? That's the question.
Chalky Transport says so. The past, the present, and the future walk into a bar. To say the least, it was tense. Bagguy 89 says, what do you call the wife of a hippie? A Mississippi.
Chalky Transport says Badger, that is hilarious.
Chalky Transport says Water Sim World. Darth Spectre says this is the longest uninterrupted camera angle from the side I've seen.
I'm back. How you doing?
Rishi Rail says, how does the moon cut his hair? He clips it.
Oh, just need to go to the toilet. You
Chalky
can't.
Transport says, oh dear.
Anybody got an orange juice bottle?
Chalky Transport says, what did the spicy tuna sushi A say to the yellowtail sushi B? Wasabi.
Oh, that's bad. I had sushi for lunch today. It was very nice. Or sashimi, more specifically. Four giant
Darth
pinwheels of
Spectre
joy.
says, let's stop harassing that poor woman, she all failed her interview. Bagguy 89 says, thanks Chalky, rolling on the floor laughing. Chalky Transport says, good morning passengers, your driver is currently in the loop. Let's hope the train does not crash.
It'll be fine.
Darth Spectre says she's on her train journey home. Pararail Netherlands says, I know that toilet. Can't recommend it.
Most train toilets can't be recommended because most people don't seem to understand that when you're standing in a place that's going like this, you should probably sit down.
Sometimes he laughs. Lexic Dark says, and chatbot, and chatbot says, did you just run through that station?
Bad Guy 89 says alright, and for the grand finale I've got one more.
Badju89 says what's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a bicycle and a nicely dressed man on a tricycle? Attire.
Oh dear. That was pretty sad, bad guy.
Chalky Transport says I like telling dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs. Also you are speeding.
No, I was speeding 20 seconds ago. You guys are behind the times. I'm in the future.
Badju89 says rolling on the floor laughing. Chalky Transport says when you get a bladder infection, you're in trouble.
Gav's Photography says depends if the train is not bouncing around.
Chalky Transport says attire made me laugh so badly.
Imagine trying to go for a piss on a pacer. You'd be hosing the walls. You'd be very unpopular, I think.
Nightbot says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train-simulator-driver/join.
Oh, it's /join. I thought it was /joy. Okay. Oop, gratuitous spread shut.
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/zxacbngj5.
Maybe I should read out the next roadmap article using the robot voice.
And the Shanghai Maglev.
Chalky Transport says my friend got crushed by a pile of books, but he's only got his shelf to blame.
All puns are good puns.
Says, please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
Badju89 says face with tears of joy full of puns, but no one said they're good ones, rolling on the floor laughing.
Will we stop at Swole? That is the question.
Florian Ski-Werman says how does a train hear another train coming? With its engineers.
Oh, Florian.
Chalky Transport says today, I gave my dead batteries away. They were free of charge. Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream, smiley face, thanks.
Gav's Photography says I've been on a couple trains and how bouncy it is. I'll get a video of how bouncy it is. LOL face with tears of joy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching
says
Swole.
This voiceover is bussin' for real for real.
It's time to get off the train.
Darth Spectre says that was a good one, Florian. Chalky Transport says what did one snowman say to the other snowman? Stop the train, train driver.
Darth Spectre says peak deadpan humor ATP.
Lexic Dark says shaken, not stud. Like in that Fatboy Slim Your Mama Push the Tempo music video. Bagguy89 says if Nightbot had a fan club I join it, red heart.
Chalky Transport says you can see in some of my videos where I record the train announcements, how much I bump backwards and forwards.
I like some of the funny
Rail
announcements that I
Netherlands
heard in
says
the
Goody
UK.
Morgan, ons train machinist we'd niet zeker of we zwolle gaan halen. Bel UW geliefden voor de zekerheid voor we het niet halen. Chalky Transport says no, I am not copying jokes from a website.
Chalky Transport says 56. How do you create a space-themed party? You planet. 57. What did the lawyer wear to court? A lawsuit. 58. I'm not a big fan of stairs. They're always up to something.
Chalky Transport says which funny announcements.
Things like mind the gap between the rich and the poor.
Spectre says funny announcements like don't give money to the homeless people.
Darth Spectre says or the one about geese.
The other one I heard when arriving at East
Chalky
Grinstead,
Transport says geese.
when I was visiting Bluebell, it was something along the lines of, "You've just arrived at the end of the line. If you didn't mean to arrive at the end of the line,
Darth
there'll be
Spectre
another
says,
train
have
going
you
back
not
and give
seen
you
the
another
level
chance to
5
arrive at the
geese
end of the
warning?
line."
Lord Dampnut says in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Just kidding, lol.
And then there was train simulators.
Chalky Transport says oh right face with tears of joy. Chalky Transport says face with tears of joy.
Chalky Transport says we did not skip this station.
No, because there's a dirty great big buffer and we'd fly into the air.
Melbourne Train Guy says free P. Diddy.
Isn't he dead?
Florian Ski Worman says why didn't you just miss that station? Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat. Darth Spectre says this is the level 5 geese warning. The goose on platform 2 is violent and has claimed the platform as his own. Please avoid.
Bad goose.
Pararail Nederland says we hebben het gehoord. Stations wall. Darth Spectre says it was on an actual official sign at a train station.
Melbourne Train Guy says Mr. President, a second plane has just hit the tower.
Be nice, Melbourne Train Guy. Only Glod? That's sad.
Florian Ski Worman says rude, calling me a goose.
Anyway, folks, that's it for tonight because it is a work night.
Man says rolling
I've
on the
got to
floor
be
laughing,
on deck
rolling on the floor
in
laughing.
about 8 hours' time. That's exciting. And I've got to go and feed some cats and go to bed and do all that sort of fun
Patterson
stuff.
says weird looking 47 lol.
No, it's not a weird looking 47 at all, Bradley Patterson.
Rail says at Melbourne Train Guy OMG.
Anyway, despite not being allowed to
Darth
run what I
Spectre
wanted to
says if
run,
you Google
what I had grand
UK
plans
geese
to run,
warning sign, you'll
we'll do
see
that
it
on another
rolling on
day,
the floor
maybe on
laughing.
Sunday or something, we'll see. But anyway, the
Pararail Nederland says
as far as I know, the
train
game's still
simulator
coming out
driver.
tomorrow. So, we'll see. Guess we'll
Gav's
see.
Photography says
Maybe
Paul's
check and see if
loves
there's
a lot.
any news that I'm allowed to tell you.
Darth Spectre says complete with the picture of
None.
a goose.
None yet at all.
Lord Dampnut says good stream. Lexic Dark says woohoo, thanks to chatbot. Thanks to our driver.
Florian Ski Worman says thanks for the stream Paul and bots.
Let's just check.
Pararail Netherlands says thank you for an
updates.
entertaining stream.
No updates so far. Never mind.
Chalky Transport says well this was fun, thanks for the stream.
Anyway, enjoy yourselves, folks. We will
Richie
be
Rail
back
says, "Thank you
on
for a brilliant
Sunday
stream."
for the regular stream. If this
Melbourne
gets,
Train
if
Guy
we're
says
allowed to,
enjoyed the
I'll
stream at
do
TSD.
this. Otherwise, we'll do something else. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Chalky
It'll be all
Transport
fun.
says why did the cookie cry? Because his mother was away for so long.
I could just leave this running and you could just say jokes to each other all night if you want to. We can do that.
Darth Spectre says our driver made us walk to the platform ourselves.
Chalky Transport says this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for the stream. Thanks to the driver and the famous bot.
The famous bot.
Chalky
Well,
Transport
enjoy
says
yourselves,
you
folks,
just missed a
and I
station.
hope to see you on Sunday. So have fun, and we shall see you.
Bagguy89 says thanks for the stream, Paul. Have a good day at work, buddy. Nerd face.
Richie Rail says do it. Jockey Transport says we play the game. Melbourne Train Guy says smiling face with sunglasses.
Dark Spectre says nice one, guys. Catch you in the next one.
Jockey Transport says fine.
Train Simulator Driver says we did play a game.
Bradley Pattison says bye all.
Chalky Transport says yeah. Benjamin